breath and I'm ready to go. I'm falling right in and I'm ready to go. I found what I want and I know that we're on top, so I'll dive in and I'm ready to whoa. Holding my breath and I'm ready to go. I catch you laughing and I'm ready to go. You're holding the match, strike it and ignite my soul. I'll dive in and I'm ready to whoa.
So this was a very spontaneous trip to Vegas. I quite literally was booking my hotel as I was headed out the door to the airport. So I was going to go with whatever gave me the best rate and something that I was familiar with. In this case, I settled on the Horseshoe, formerly known as Bally's. Not really sure if I have to keep saying formerly known as Bally's anymore, since it's been, like a year and a half since they made the switch over from Bally's to the Horseshoe, but I digress. I managed to score a ridiculously good rate. I booked a Resort King room for roughly $11 a night. Plus resort fees. Yes, I had to pay the dreaded resort fees on this particular Vegas trip because my diamond status with Caesars had expired on January the 31st, and it sometimes takes a few weeks for things to renew when you're doing it through the Founder's Card. So yes, I had to pay the $45 a night resort fee to stay at the Horseshoe. I also paid about $11 a night to upgrade to a Resort King suite, so as such, I was paying about $70 a night, which when you break it down to spend $70 a night to stay in Las Vegas, that's really not all that bad. For those of you who aren't quite familiar with Vegas geography, let me fill you in on the location of the Horseshoe in case you're new to the podcast or new to Las Vegas. The Horseshoe is pretty much mid-strip, just north of the Paris, just south of the Cromwell, right across Las Vegas Boulevard from the Bellagio and kitty corner to the legendary Caesars Palace. I always like to share a few fun facts about the property that I happen to be staying at, some fun facts about the Horseshoe. When it originally opened back in 1973 as the MGM Grand, the Horseshoe was among the largest hotels in the world with over 2,100 rooms on site. It's played host to several famous productions, including the long-running Vegas showgirl show Jubilee and the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast TV show. The Ziegfeld Showroom, which was home to Jubilee for so many years, was also featured in the hit movie Rocky IV during the Living in America scene, with James Brown dancing and shucking and jiving as Apollo Creed got set for his epic battle with Ivan Drago. The Horseshoe is also considered to be one of Vegas's most haunted properties. It was back in 1980 when the then MGM Grand was home to one of the worst high-rise fires in the history of the United States, claimed the lives of 85 guests, injured hundreds others, and it's rumored that the spirits of those lost in the fire still wander the halls of the hotel. Getting to my room now, as mentioned, I had booked a Resort King room and I did the upgrade to a Resort King Studio Suite, which I actually did via the kiosk. Now, it's been a long time since I've done a check-in at a Caesars property via the kiosk. I've had diamond status through Founder's Card for the last several years, so I generally would go and check in through the diamond desk. Not this time, did it through the kiosk. Went flawlessly. It went quite smoothly. I had absolutely no issues at all. The only thing I don't like about checking in through the kiosk is that you can't really make any special requests. So if you want to make sure that you are far from the elevators or have a higher floor or something along those lines, you can't really do that. You have to see a person in order to do that. The only options that you're really given through the kiosk is a room upgrade. I was assigned a low floor room. I was given a room on the 6th floor, room 662A to be exact. I had an east-facing room, low floor like that, no real view. I was looking at the roof of the backside of the property. I think it's the roof of the convention halls, and I also had a lovely view of the self-parking garage. That was my view, east-facing. The actual room itself was great. Horseshoe's rooms, they were renovated somewhat recently. All of the rooms in the resort tower were renovated, I would say probably within the last 5 years or so. It was probably just pre-COVID when Bally's went through and spent a ton of money to do room renos and upgrades. So everything in the room was in really good condition. The furniture, the carpets, the walls, everything in again, just excellent condition. The Resort King Studio Suite, it's listed on the website being at 590 square feet. So it is quite a large room. The standard room, the standard king room, is 450 square feet. So again, it is quite a big room. It gives you a lot of room to sort of spread out within that room. The room included a fridge. In fact, there were 2 fridges in the room. There was one tucked away in the wet bar, and then there was one in the credenza, but only the one in the credenza was actually plugged in and functioning. The one in the wet bar was not plugged in. It was just tucked away in there. Nice added amenity. It's the little things, honestly. There was a device charger on the nightstand, which I thought was kind of a neat little, again, just an added guest courtesy. It had a couple of USB ports. It had a wireless QI charger, so you can put your phone on there in order to charge it there without having to plug it in. Did have a couple of standard outlets on there as well. Again, not a big deal, but I thought it was just a nice little touch. You're not having to go hunting around behind the nightstand for extra plugs, and you're not having to use the somewhat sketchy plugs that are generally in the base of the lamps on the nightstand. Added bonus here, the shower door didn't leak. I've talked about this before on past episodes of the podcast and past trip reports, where I've mentioned that for some reason, the positioning of the shower head, the positioning of the shower door, and the lack of a little ledge at the bottom of the shower door has caused leaks. I've experienced this in a lot of different hotels. As a matter of fact, last time I stayed at the Horseshoe back in May of 2023, I actually had the leaky shower door. You would have to put the bath mat or an extra towel up against the edge of the shower so that it didn't just leak out onto the floor and cause a big mess. So I'm not sure if resort management is listening to this podcast or they're getting a lot of the same complaints from other people, but it's been quite a while since I've actually had leaky shower doors. My last few Vegas stays, I have not had leaky shower doors. The only real issue that I had with this room was that the spotlights that are on the outside of the property that are used to illuminate the building at night were basically shining directly into my room. This is one of the craziest things that I've ever experienced at a hotel anywhere, never mind a hotel in Vegas. It was like daylight 24/7 in my room. Even with the curtains closed, there was still a fair bit of light bleeding in from around the edges of the curtains. The first night I was in the hotel, I actually woke up at one point and it was bright. It was like I thought it was daylight, and I thought, oh my God, I've slept in. I had all these plans. I was going to get up early. I was going to go for a walk. I was going to shoot some video. I was going to go get some breakfast, do some shopping, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, what time is it? Holy hell, I must have slept in. Rolled over, looked at my phone. It was 4:15 in the morning. It felt like daylight. The second night that I was in the Horseshoe, I went out for the evening and I left my room curtains open without even thinking. I just did. It was bright out. It was daylight, like actual daylight out when I left. And by the time I got back, night had fallen everywhere except my room. Again, it was like legit daytime when I came back into my room. I'm not going to lie to you. This is actually the first time that I've ever debated on going back down to the front desk and asking for a new room after checking in. When I first walked into that room and I saw these bright lights shining in, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be absolutely terrible for sleeping. It's not going to be a very relaxing stay. And if I had been staying more than 2 nights, with my first night in Vegas not being a late arrival, I probably would have gone back down to the front desk and asked for a new room, either higher up or on a different side, facing a different direction, something like that. But again, because I was only there for 2 nights, first night was a late arrival, and the fact that I was only paying $22 a night for the room plus resort fees, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't going to do a lot of complaining. I just slept with my head under the covers, and that pretty much solved the problem. Pros of the Horseshoe, of course, the big pro of the property, location, location, location. I mean, you are probably in one of the best places to be on the Strip. You walk out the front door of the Horseshoe, you have got restaurants, shopping, casinos, everything. No matter what direction you go, you're making a left, you're making a right. You've got all those things within easy walking distance to you. Great amenities right on site as well. Lots of restaurant options in the Horseshoe. You've got everything from fast food and food court style right up to slightly higher end cuisine. So you've got all that. Plus you've got access to more restaurants and bars in the Paris, which is attached via an indoor walkway. So if it's raining out like it was when I was in town, or if it's too cold, or it's summertime and it's too hot, you've got access to the Paris that way. As well, you've got the bazaar shops right out front of the Horseshoe with more shopping, bars, dining. As well, easy transport to get around. You've got a monorail station on site at the Horseshoe, which means that you can do easy travel north or southbound along the east side of the Strip. You can go as far south as the MGM Grand, which gives you access to a ton of other properties, or you can go all the way north to the Sahara. So again, you've got easy access that way. Some of the negatives of the casino of the Horseshoe, some might say it is a little small. Selection of the slots isn't great, but they do have a lot of table games, and their poker room, if you're into playing poker, is absolutely outstanding. They're also missing a sports book. They don't really have a sports book at the Horseshoe. So if you're into sitting and watching your favorite sporting event and placing bets, you don't really have that option or opportunity to do so. The other thing as well, so many of the properties have gotten away from live entertainment, and the Horseshoe is one of those properties. There is no live lounge entertainment on site. So if you want to sit and have a beverage and enjoy some live entertainment, you're going to have to go elsewhere in order to do that. Overall impression of the Horseshoe, as per my last few reviews, I would give it a solid 4 out of 5. My humble opinion, it is probably one of the best hotel values on the Strip. Highly, highly recommend it, whether you are a Vegas first timer or a Vegas veteran. Definitely a great place to stay is the Horseshoe.